The Vedic Age, 1500 BCE to 600 BCE. Until the discovery of Indus Valley civilization, the Vedic period was considered to be the beginning of Indian history and civilization. In Indian history, the period 1500 BCE to 600 BCE is called the Vedic Age, as most of the information about this period is derived from Vedic literature. Vedic literature was composed in Sanskrit language, which, in Vedic times, was quite different from the Sanskrit that we are familiar with. Surprisingly, our past was revealed to us by a few European scholars like Max Muller and William Jones, who were greatly influenced by the richness of Sanskrit language and literature. These scholars found many common words of Sanskrit and European languages and concluded that in the past, the Indians and Europeans shared a common homeland, probably in Central Asia. They also concluded that Sanskrit belonged to Indo-European group of languages. Most of the languages spoken in northern India have Sanskrit roots, whereas the South Indian languages belong to Dravidian group. There are 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, and Atharva Veda. The word Veda is derived from the word Vid, which means to know. The oldest Veda is the Rig Veda, composed around 1500 BCE. It includes more than 1,000 hymns called Sukta, that is, well said. These hymns are in praise of various gods and goddesses. Agni, Indra, and Soma have been praised differently. Different sages or rishis had composed them and taught them to the people. The Vedic text is divided in 2 orders: early and later Vedic literature. The early Vedic literature includes the 4 Vedas, the Brahmans, the Aranyakas, and the Upanishads, 1500 to 1000 BCE, and later Vedic literature consists of the epics Ramayana and Mahabharata, 1000 to 600 BCE. Early Vedic period. Aryans, meaning noble, were a semi-nomadic tribe who probably came from Central Asia over a long period of time. They lived with the existing people. There was, as a result, a mixing of languages and ways of life after the decline of Indus Valley civilization. Thus, Vedic culture came up slowly, which is reflected in Vedas. Initially, the Rig Veda was not in written form but was passed on orally. Knowledge passed on in this way was known as Shruti. The Vedic teachers took great care to teach students to pronounce words and memorize hymns correctly. At the time of Aryan entry into India, Indus Valley cities gave a deserted look to inhabitants and migrants. This would seem to confirm the archaeological evidence that the cities were destroyed and not occupied by the newcomer Aryans. They regarded the cities as places of evil and avoided them. But the Aryans did destroy a number of Indus Valley cities. The Aryans had given up their nomadic habit and lived in fixed dwelling houses which were made of wood and bamboo. Within these homes, the Aryans developed a healthy family life. Trivia: the Saraswati River is one of the chief Rigvedic rivers mentioned in the ancient Hindu texts. The Nadi Stuti hymn in the Rig Veda 10.75 mentions the Saraswati between the Yamuna in the east and Satluj in the west. And later Vedic texts like Tandya and Jaiminya Brahmans, as well as the Mahabharata, mention that the Saraswati dried up in a desert. The goddess Saraswati was originally a personification of this river, but later developed an independent identity and meaning.